Are you excited about really getting things started with efforts on the ice?
Oh, there's no question. I think that, you know, everything is sort of a prelude to what's happening. And I think just this weekend, the excitement of watching some of the young kids, and now with Halifax coming up, that's what it's all about.
What are realistic expectations for this team in your mind?
Honest and truly, I have more questions than anything. I think that, and that's honesty. I mean, I don't know a lot of these players, just like I didn't know a lot of the young kids, the high-level ones I've seen earlier, just simply because of, you know, when I was in New Jersey watching getting ready for the draft. But the players I'm going to see now, I've seen play against, but never paid attention the way we're doing right now. So I think it's going to take a while before I have any thoughts whatsoever that make any kind of sense.
You're part of a pretty good team, aren't you?
I mean, you know, I think that was the, you know, most intriguing part when I had my conversations with Brendan. And, you know, as I said to a lot of people, and they said, well, why would you do something when people are in place? I said, those are people that you would want to hire yourself if you had the opportunity. And then to have them in place and the job that Brendan's done, and they're great people, but more important, they're great hockey minds.
In general, what might you touch on when you address the team in training camp?
I don't think that's something I would discuss right now. You know, it'll be something that just comes from the heart, and more importantly, my thoughts on what I think that how players should act, both on, off the ice, and more importantly, commitment that has to be given as far as accountability.
How do you go about starting to set up, I guess, the culture that you like in a team? Like, where do you start with a process like that with a new team?
Well, what you try and do is you have an idealistic thought in your mind, but you approach it realistically. You do little things, you know, and go in baby steps and just build. You know, we have a lot of players from different organizations. You know, Mike's coming from Detroit, I'm coming from New Jersey. Toronto players who are here, and also the new additions. So you have a different culture, and you don't just come in and try and establish something off the bat. We've got to get the best of what we have with the people that we have and just let it take care of itself.
So do you institute then some of the little rules that you had in Jersey, or do you kind of let that process take its course?
Well, I think what you'll see is a process taking its course, and you know, I'm from the school that you do all little things, but you do them gradually, and then the end result will take care of itself.
The process with this team, we've been told, is to build from within, build with youth, and be patient. But does a guy like Mitch Marner or William Nylander have a legitimate chance to make this team at a training camp if they win a spot?
First of all, I think that it's an unfair question for me because I really don't know, you know, what our players are in the NHL. I think you're always going to play your best players, but I've always said a young player really tells you when he's ready. You know, you don't really tell him. It's just he has to have something special. If not, you know, you're doing an injustice not only to him but the organization and vice versa. So only time will tell. You never say never to anything, but in my opinion, it's very, very difficult for a young player today as an 18-year-old to make the team.
Can you touch on just, you bring in a number of players on tryouts, boys, Gaincross, Setaguchi. Why them? What do you hope that they can show you?
Well, first of all, they're just like young players. They're going to have to show that they belong or they should play. They all have different experiences, and really you have an opportunity to compare them with the people you have. But for me, more importantly, they push the people you have as far as competition.
Will there be other names added at the last minute, or are you done your figure?
No,
At this stage?
There could be if there's the right one. I don't think there's any magic to it. It was something I believed in. Setaguchi was here before I came. In fact, I was going to bring him to camp in New Jersey before he got a contract in Calgary. So, you know, there's nothing lost. But as long as you're honest with the players coming in, as far as what the opportunities are, then there's nothing wrong with it.
What do you think players should expect from Mike? Obviously, you haven't worked with him, but...
Well, I know Mike pretty well. I mean, what they should expect is just be ready.
Simple as that?
Simple as that. Be ready.
Has there been any contact with Nathan Horton over the summer?
Pardon me?
Any contact with Nathan Horton over the summer just to check on his condition?
I have had it indirectly with the doctors who have been talking with him. You know, so that's my contact.
Saw a lot of facial hair on some of the players. I know in the past you've like clean face. Is that going to be a directive from you, or have you changed your mind?
As I mentioned earlier, I haven't even, that's not even a thought right now. I think those are the little things. I think for me, the most important thing right now is the personnel and who are we and what are we and, all that. We didn't do that in New Jersey right off the bat either. Once we became who we were, and then gradually we put an identity to ourselves and establish a culture. I think that you've got to put the right things in perspective first. And the most important thing is who are we as a team and who are our players and what can we expect and what can they do. That's the main focus, nothing else.
So are you just in learning mode then?
I certainly am, yes. I have more questions than answers. I really wish I had more answers right now. And hopefully this weekend and next week, we'll have an opportunity. Both Mike and I were talking yesterday, watching the kids, and, it's very tough when you don't have them every day and see them and what they can do in different situations. And, the key is hoping that a couple will really surprise you.
Do you have a philosophy, not much in terms of being a general manager and rebuilding this club? Is there a philosophy you want to follow?
Well, I think everybody has a philosophy, and I think that do what you do, and what do it right away. Don't wait. When you know something, make a decision no matter what anybody else thinks. And I think that's the key in anything you're doing, because you can get off track. Because the seat you have, and I've said this often to fellows who are here who've known me for years, you have information no one else has, and that you really cannot share sometimes for the right reasons. So you have to make decisions off that, no matter what anybody else thinks.